Welcome back. All right, so 3 games on the board for this one, 3 games on the board for the recap I did earlier, so that's already on the channel. We're going to talk about these 3 games, and we're going to finish off with, well, it was a game. I mean, there was some excitement here and there, but for me, it's tough because this is a time of year where I'm really interested in where the playoff picture is, and Columbus and Arizona are both out of it. Really, for them, it's about tanking, which means their fans go, great, 3-point game, now what? All right, so we're going to start things off talking about Toronto and Chicago. The overreactions are going to be pretty strong on this one, and I've already seen it. Toronto is 4-4-2 against the bottom 5 teams in the league. Yeah, they have a hard time against the teams that are at the bottom of the league. Also, the Leafs saying they were tired. That coming out of last night's game, the travel coming into this one, the start time of this one, they were tired. And that can very well be the case. So, it's Samsonov versus Stauber. The Leafs were also wearing their Bieber jerseys, which I don't know that they have a great record with the Bieber jerseys. I'd be interested to see that one. Seth Jones has an early chance at save. The Blackhawks had some jump early. Matthews to Nylander, near miss there, and the shots are 4-1 for Chicago. 3.5 minutes in. Both teams turning the puck over. It was sloppy early on. Mitchell defends an Engvall chance. O'Reilly's denied. The rebound's cleared. Yarncroke fires one wide from the slot, and it happened. I knew it was going to happen. It's not Rob Stauber, but I believe it's Cuthbert, right? Said Rob Stauber. He played from 89 to 95 in the NHL and played 62 games in total. But people my age and older will slip and call him Rob Stauber. It's going to happen. So we come back from commercial. And Kane scores from Domi at 10 minutes and 44 seconds. He wires that one on a rush. And I say come back from commercial because I know he said Rob Stauber just going to commercial. But yeah, Kane gets this one. And I swear, it's like Kane's been reading media reports or paying attention to media reports about how his hip's killing him and he's done and he's just beat up. I think he took that personally. Leafs try to answer. They get a power play and they score on it. It's Tavares from Riley and Nylander at 12:52. That's point number 400 for Morgan Riley. And that one was right off the face-off. So pretty strong answer there from Toronto. Hawks press for an answer of their own. 2:12 left. They get a power play. Toronto kills that off. They allow 0 shots. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. Bunting's denied on a break. The Leafs press at 3 minutes. Lots of zone time. They're not getting a lot of shots. The one thing I noticed was they were in the Chicago zone quite a bit. They're just not hitting the net. Hawks go to the power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Marner. That power play's killed off. No shots. Shots are 2-0 Leafs at 7.5 minutes. And then, I believe this was the first shot of the period. It's Kane, again, from Domi and Dickinson at 7:57. The Leafs press at 9 minutes. Tyler Johnson fires one wide on a 2-on-1. Murphy has a rush that's saved. Kane thought it was a goal there. But, yeah, no, it's not a goal. The next one is, though. So Kane scores from Murphy and Domi at 10:49 on a rush. And I put up there, take that, hip rumors. Yeah, 5 goals in 2 games for Patrick Kane. And yet I see people, he's lost his stay. He's not the same. If Kane goes to a contending team, if Kane decides I want to be traded and they make it work, I think he's going to be dynamic wherever he goes. And really, honestly, this is a really good set of games on the weekend for him to showcase himself. So good job. The other thing that's interesting is, so he gets the hat trick, the 9th of his career. And the announcers point out, and I thought it was weird too, he's kind of circling around the ice, kind of looking around, not really with his teammates, and it just felt like, does he feel like this could be the last time, and he's soaking in it a little bit? It did feel kind of like that's going on, but he's got a lot on his mind. The Leafs not getting shots at this point as well. Power play for Toronto, it's killed off, 2 shots, and then on a tic-tac-toe play, it's a Chari from Kampf and Kerfoot at 17:46. So Noel Chari scores there. Domi then had a rush chance that was saved in the final minute. You know what's interesting to me, too, is nobody's paying attention to the fact Domi's having a really good season. He is putting up points at a rate he hasn't in about half a decade, and nobody's paying any attention. So we go to the third period with Toronto down 3-2. Tavares fires one wide early. The Leafs press. They're kept to the outside. The Hawks go to the power play. Radish is denied in close. That's killed off. And then Riley banks one off the boards, and I don't know if he meant for it to bank off the boards right to Marner, because he was headed to the bench, but it goes right to Marner, who buries it, which, I mean, hey, you call your shot. Riley and Hall with the assists at 7:38. Then there's a post for Marner not long after that on his next shift, and then there's a turnover, and Gutman gets his first National Hockey League goal at 11:42. He fires that one on the rush opportunity, and that puts Chicago ahead 4-3. Domi is then denied as the Hawks press. It really felt like that goal was the demoralizer for Toronto. Goalie pull with 2:10 left, and that leads to, at 18:44, Domi hitting the empty net from Kane and Stauber. They had been trying to get it to Kane. Kane has had 9 hat tricks in his career. He's never had a 4-goal game. So there's Rob Stauber with his first, I'm kidding, not Rob Stauber, first assist of his career for Stauber there, and that makes the final score 5-3. So for Chicago, 18-32-5 with the win. Toronto, 33-15-8 with the loss. They're still in the playoffs. Don't worry about it. Shots in this one, 8-7 Chicago in the first, 10-7 Toronto in the second, 18-13 Toronto in the third. Final shots, 35-28 Toronto. I will say this, all the discussion about how tired Toronto was, I think takes away from what was a good game for Stauber. Power plays, Toronto 1 for 2, Chicago 0 for 3. Their power play just is awful. Hits 27-20 for Chicago. Samsonov saves 23 out of 27, and Stauber saves 32 out of 35. So that took place, and we'll see what happens in the next one. All right, next up on this board is Winnipeg and New Jersey. Hellebuck versus Blackwood in this one. Early jump for the Devils. Graves has a shot that deflects wide. Wheeler has a net feed that's blocked. The Jets press at 3.5 minutes. They don't get shots there, though. Then there's a press by the Devils at 6 minutes. There's a near miss for Hamilton. Devils have some momentum. The shots are 4-1, 8 minutes in favor of the New Jersey Devils. Stenlund couldn't bury one on a rush. He's hexed this year. Devils go to the power play. Winnipeg does kill that off, and then Winnipeg gets the lead. It's Perfetti. Buries a rebound. Pionk and Scheifele with the assists at 17:57. So the puck bounces over to him, and he puts it in the net. But at 15:16, so 19 seconds later, Tatar answers from Mercer and Hischier. So that makes it 1-1. That was tipped in off of Schmidt's stick as well. So Schmidt was trying to prevent it from going to Tatar and ends up helping it into the net too. Haula has a rush chance that's saved, and then it's Pionk who puts Winnipeg back in front from Dillon and Scheifele at 17:09. It's a blast from the point. It's the 4th shot of the game, and that's 2 goals on 4 shots. Blackwood would recover from that rough start, but it's 2-1 Winnipeg after 1. Second period. Early press by the Jets. Stenlund can't bury one. His stick broke during that play. Shots are 2-1 for the Jets 5 minutes in, and they're breaking up passes. And honestly, to this point, Winnipeg was doing a really good job of controlling the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey has a very explosive offense, and Winnipeg's doing their best. So strong defense by both teams in the first half. Not a lot of opportunities either way. Severson's then denied as the Devils press. Perfetti has a shot that's held. There's a post for Bratt on a rush. Scheifele's denied. The Jets draw a power play. Pionk has a shot that's held. That's killed off. Hellebuck then poke checks Zetterlund, and we come out of that second period with the score 2-1 Jets. And thanks to a couple of posts, I mean, it keeps the lead for Winnipeg, and New Jersey can't quite get on the board. But cue up the third period. Good start for the Jets. They press. There was a post for Tatar. Jets rush the other way, and then it's a one-timer at 5:02. It's Zetterlund from Haula who was behind the net, and it was one of those behind the net, out to the front, and buried. And I think this was a plan in New Jersey's because it's not the last time we see it. So the shots are 5-2 for the Devils. Jets press for an answer, but then at 6:53, so a minute and 51 seconds later, Wood scores from McLeod and Boquist. Guess where McLeod passed the puck from? Behind the net. So now New Jersey has the lead. The crowd's gone absolutely bonkers. The crowd was pretty quiet in the first and second. Third period, though, yeah, party's on. Shots are 5-2 Devils at 7.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Jets. Near misses for Morrissey, for Scheifele. That's killed off. So chances, Perfetti had one during that power play too. They just couldn't bury it. Jets press, but during the press, Barron gets a little overzealous and ends up going to the penalty box. We then end up with 29 seconds of 4-on-4. The Jets get a power play. Everything's killed off from that. Jets press with 2 minutes left. They pull the goalie with 1:25 left. They also called the timeout with 1:09 left. Whatever was discussed does not work. Mercer hits the empty net from Haula and Graves at 19:04, and New Jersey wins again, 4-2. They go to 36-14-5 with the win. Winnipeg, another loss, 34-21-1. So again, Dallas pretty well insulated atop that division until Colorado decides they're going to take it. So shots are 11-6 New Jersey in the first, 11-10 New Jersey in the second, 9-7 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 29-25 for the Devils. Power plays Winnipeg 0 for 3, New Jersey 0 for 2. Hits 13-10 New Jersey. Hellebuck saves 25 out of 28. Blackwood saved 23 out of 25, which is impressive considering he allowed 2 goals on the first 4 shots he faced, and then nothing after that. So good recovery from him, good recovery from the Devils. We'll see what happens next game out. And finally, Columbus and Arizona. I'm sure this will be the most watched portion of this video. I do get reports on which parts of videos people are watching. I'm thinking the report on this part, so stick around. Anyways, it's Merzlikins versus Ingram and the cactus leg jerseys. So the jersey doesn't have the cactus on it, the new Arizona third, but they have it on the one side on the leg. And when you're watching on TV, all you can see is just red and cactus on their leg. So I call it the cactus leg outfit. Shots are 2-1 Columbus at 2.5 minutes. There's a near miss for Blankenberg as they press. Ingram over 120 minutes with no goals against at this point. So over 2 full games without allowing a goal for Connor Ingram. Coyotes get a power play. Valimaki has a chance that's kicked aside. That's killed off. But later in the period at 14-14, it's Travis Boyd who opens the scoring from Stetcher and Fisher. Coyotes then press for another, and they would get it. Schmaltz scores from Keller at 16:28. What's interesting is, so you have a banked off the boards and buried goal here. Same thing happens here. Keller puts it off the boards and Schmaltz puts it in. So it's like a couple of games and the same sort of a play takes place. Ingram, honestly, excellent. Quite the story. Makes 7 saves in the first period. And he's a wall in there. Second period. Goodbranson versus Brown to start the period. One of the best fights of the year. Early Columbus power play. That was killed off. The power play had no relation to the fight. Pressed by Columbus at 3.5 minutes. Shots are 6-1 Columbus at 4 minutes. There's more pressure by Columbus at 6 minutes. So again, this has really become the Connor Ingram show at this point. Schmaltz fires one wide from the slot. Bemstrom then fired one wide. The Coyotes cleared there. Power play for Columbus killed off. No shots for Columbus on their power play. Columbus did press after it ends briefly, but they did. Hayden then has a rush chance that deflects wide. There was a post for the Jackets from 2-1. It's just they're so close. Marchenko's denied, and then Jenner ends the streak at 147 minutes and 8 seconds. That's how long it had been since the last puck went in behind Ingram. Blankenberg and Peak with the assists at 13:23. So it's 2-1. And it's a result of a ton of pressure, just Arizona letting them get way too much zone time. Coyotes press with 5 minutes left. There's a near miss for Keller and close. Laine has a rush chance that's saved in the final minute. We're going to the third period, 2-1 Arizona. Coyotes had the early jump. Fisher has a net drive that's blocked. Roslovic had a rush chance, near miss there. Then there's a post for Bukestad from a 3-1 lead. Johnson tried the Michigan. Yep, Kent Johnson absolutely tried the Michigan, just couldn't quite pull it off. Shots are 6-3 Coyotes at 6.5 minutes. And I also want to say, the Michigan has now become just a standard part of the game. Yes, you get a replay of the Michigan, you get the replay of most plays, and it's not as big a deal as it was. So we knew this would happen. I think we've arrived. Michigan's just another way to score a goal. Krause has a chance caught and held. There's a crossbar for Schmaltz. Michelli has a rush chance that's held. There's some pushing there. These teams really didn't like each other. I'm surprised there weren't more power plays. Things get pushy after a hold on Krause on the next play. And again, I kept waiting for the referee to just take one guy out and make him knock it off. We get a power play for Columbus. Marchenko can't bury. They cycle. Laine has a shot that's saved. His next opportunity goes in the net. At 15:07, Laine hits the power play marker from Boqvist and Jenner. Adam Boqvist now on a 4-game point streak and playing some of his best hockey in quite some time. Then we had a fight between Olivier and Ritchie. Another good tilt. We're going to overtime. Columbus controls early. Schmaltz has a rush, sets it up, but turns it over. Marchenko then had a wraparound chance. That's picked off. And eventually, well, it's a goal. Arizona, Hayden scores from Michelli and Stetcher at 2 minutes. Your final score is 3-2 in overtime for the Coyotes. They go to 20, 28, and 9 with the win, which will drive Coyotes fans nuts because why are we getting points? Why are we getting wins? We want that number 1 draft pick. In Columbus, kind of the same thing. 18, 34, and 5 with the overtime loss. So Chicago, Columbus, Arizona, all of them get points today. Shots in this one, 10-7 Arizona the first, 12-4 Columbus in the second, 16-9 Columbus in the third, and then 2-1 Arizona in the overtime, including the one that matters. Final shots, 36-25 for Columbus. Power plays, Columbus 1 for 3, Arizona 0 for 1. Hits, 36-29 Columbus. Merzlikins, 22 saves on 25 shots. Ingram, 34 saves on 36 shots. So there you go. You guys are all caught up on today's games. Tomorrow is an all-day hockey kind of experience as well because Family Day and President's Day. So I'll be here to watch all of that and discuss all of that. Likely in 3 different review videos / recap videos. Let me know your thoughts regarding these 3 in the comments section below. And again, don't worry. Toronto's still in the playoffs. They're still good. They're still ahead of Tampa Bay. It's just one of those games. And again, if you listen to them, they say they were tired, and I have no reason to think they're lying about that. And we'll see how they do in their next game. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.